Yes, we're rolling? Hi Amanda, we're making tomato egg and I wanted to give you a little video tutorial.
Who's that behind you?
This is Joan,
Hi,
John's
Amanda.
mom. So the rule of thumb is 1 tomato per person that you're serving and 1 egg per person that you're serving, and you beat the eggs up and then you're gonna scramble them and then put them aside.
What kind of tomatoes do you want?
Roma tomatoes are very good for this because they're not too soggy. Are we back on rolling? Okay. The tomatoes are cut into 6, not too small, or it gets too soggy. Ginger, you're gonna cut. I like cutting frozen ginger because it pulverizes itself.
Don't forget the rice.
Oh yeah. Put the rice on before you start cutting anything.
Scramble the egg.
Alrighty.
So what are you doing up this way?
Came up to go out to Eastern Washington for Gary to take pictures and me to travel along and see my grandkids.
Did you ever pronounce it Warshington at any point?
No, do you?
Nope.
Warshington? Washington.
I heard you went to the coast as well.
Well, we did. We went up to Bainbridge Island and took the ferry over there and visited some friends over there and looked at the Puget Sound and walked around on that island a little bit.
What was the first thing you thought when you saw Snoqualmie Falls?
I thought it was such a shame that they had that equipment there in the falls.
What kind of equipment did they have?
Oh, it's like, part of the electric company, the power company that produces all the power for Washington there. But it's really beautiful falls, very misty, heavy.
Do you think you could go over if you were in, say, a padded barrel?
No.
Padded barrel.
No.
Or down, yeah. So to make the tomato egg, once you've gotten everything cut up, you want your pan on high. If you're cooking with a wok, pour a little oil in. Dried red peppers. If it's just like 2 or 3 of you, 1 is enough. 4 or 5 of you, 2 is good. Break them in half. Dump them in. And then you want a clove of garlic per person. So this is about 4 1/2, 5 cloves. Because we're about 4 1/2 or 5 people. And about the same amount in ginger.
Why did you only use half of it?
Because we're having spinach and tofu as well, so that's the garlic and ginger for that stuff.
Oh.
Now you want to have ready vinegar, oil, soy sauce, sugar, and salt. And if you're feeling fancy, some rice wine, but it's not necessary.
How about fish sauce?
And sesame oil. So
this is a
helps
key
to
shot.
cook with a spoon. Once this is like starting to turn golden, you're gonna put your tomatoes in. Again, 1 tomato per person, cut into big chunks.
Disregard the mushrooms.
Yeah, that's a different dish.
Now, why did you pour all that tomato juice in there?
Because it's good to have some, especially with Romas because they're kind of dry.
No fish sauce?
No. So take your spoon. You want like a couple tablespoons of sugar for this many tomatoes. Start with 1 tablespoon if you have like 3 tomatoes, but no more than that. It's easy to oversweeten this dish. And you take your vinegar.
What kind of vinegar?
Apple cider will work, white vinegar will work, or wine vinegar will work. It doesn't really matter.
I prefer apple
A
cider.
little splash in there. I like to add a little splash of rice wine. It's easy to overdo.
Weiss? Did you say Weiss wine?
Weiss wine. It's easy to overdo the Weiss wine, so be very careful with it. And give it a toss. Get that sugar dissolved. And then you need to add soy sauce.
Careful how much.
So you can be pretty
Woo!
generous with the soy sauce because you can. And then you're just gonna let it cook until these tomatoes start breaking down.
At what point do you stop cooking the tomatoes?
When they're nice and soft. And
It's a delicate.
you can also
sort
sprinkle
of
just a
thing.
touch of salt. But we'll taste it after the tomatoes are broken down just to make sure everything tastes okay. We'll be back in just a few.
He was getting anxious till I remembered about the little plug.
Yeah. Changes his whole outlook.
He put his fist in his mouth. Gave me a clue.
Not just anyone can do that. So what was your favorite thing you photographed on your trip into Warshington?
Warshington? Oh, it'd be all the patterns from the Steptoe Butte, 3,000-foot granite monolith in eastern Washington. Beautiful.
Was the sky cloudy?
Bald skies, not a cloud in the sky. Kind of disappointing, but it was what it was.
Why was it disappointing?
Disappointing because it didn't have dramatic clouds. But don't always get what you want.
But if you try sometimes
You just might.
At the end. So
Oh, okay.
these tomatoes have cooked down. They're kind of soft. And you can test it with the spoon. It's always important to taste while you're cooking. So you taste it. Pretty good. Doesn't need any more salt.
easy, don't overcook them.
It might actually need a little bit more vinegar. It could use a little more kick. Just a splash. There. And then you can shut it off. And then you're going to get your eggs that you scrambled. They're hiding over here. There they are. You're going to dump those in. pick them up, stir them in.
Let's talk a little bit about Chinese history and the colors red and yellow.
Ah, red, very celebratory color. Yellow is the color of the emperor. Sort of like the color purple in Europe, it was the color yellow in China. So after you stirred in your imperial eggs to your celebratory tomatoes, you're gonna top it all off with the fireworks called sesame oil.
Just lather it on there.
Just drizzle it on gently. You don't want it to taste like sesames. And then you stir that one more.